Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that your money made money while you were asleep. No extra shift, no second job, no hours worked, just money, producing more money. Sounds simple, but here's the part most people never learn. Money doesn't automatically make money. You have to put it somewhere where it can actually work. And once you understand where that happens, you start seeing wealth very differently because there are really two ways to make money. You can work for it, or you can own something that produces it. And that difference is one of the biggest secrets behind how wealth grows. Let's start with something simple. Imagine you have $1,000. You could keep that money sitting in cash. It's still $1,000 tomorrow. Still $1,000 next month. Still $1,000 a year later. The money hasn't done anything. It's just sitting there. But now imagine that same money is placed somewhere that generates a return. Maybe through interest. Maybe through an investment. Maybe through ownership in a business. Now something changes. Your money has started producing an additional amount of money, and that extra money can potentially produce even more. That's where things get interesting, because the first $100 you make from your original money isn't the most important part. The important part is what happens next. What if you don't take that $100 out? What if you put it back to work? Now you aren't just earning from your original $1,000. You're potentially earning from the original $1,000 plus the money it already produced. And then that new amount can produce more, and more, and more. This is the basic idea behind compounding. It sounds almost boring when you say it, but over long periods of time, it can become extremely powerful because wealth doesn't always grow like a straight line. Sometimes it grows more like a snowball. At the beginning, it looks tiny. You push it forward. It picks up a little more snow, then a little more. And eventually, the snowball becomes much larger than the one you started with. Money can work in a similar way when returns are reinvested and allowed to accumulate over time. But there's something even more important than the money itself. Time. Time gives compounding room to work. And that's why two people can invest similar amounts of money, but end up in completely different places. One starts early and gives the process decades. The other waits, then tries to catch up by putting in much larger amounts later. The difference isn't always intelligence. It isn't always income. Sometimes it's simply time. But where does the money actually come from? This is where ownership becomes important. Think about a business. If you own part of a business, you're not simply hoping the company becomes valuable because it looks impressive. You're owning a piece of an economic machine. The company sells products, customers pay, revenue comes in, expenses are paid. And if the business succeeds, the remaining value can benefit its owners. The same basic idea appears across many types of assets. You can own a piece of a company. You can own property that generates rental income. You can lend money and receive interest. You can build a business that produces cash flow. Different assets work differently, and every investment carries its own risks. But the underlying idea is surprisingly simple. Ownership gives your money a chance to participate in economic activity. And that's something a paycheck alone doesn't do. Your paycheck pays you for your work. An asset can potentially pay you because you own it. That's the shift. And it's one reason wealthy people often care so much about ownership. Not because working doesn't matter. It does. In fact, for most people, earned income is where wealth building begins. But eventually, the goal can become turning some of that income into assets. Because if every dollar you earn disappears the moment you spend it, you have to keep working for every future dollar. But if some of your money is converted into productive assets, those assets may continue working even when you aren't. That's why the question changes. Instead of asking, how can I work more? You start asking, how can I make the money I've already earned more productive? And that doesn't mean every investment goes up. They don't. Markets fall, businesses fail, property can lose value, interest rates change, and some investments are far riskier than others. There is no magic machine that turns money into guaranteed money. But there is a real economic principle underneath all of this. Capital can be put to work. And when that capital produces returns, those returns can potentially be reinvested. And when that process continues for years, something interesting happens. The money you started with becomes less important. The system you built around it becomes more important because eventually, you aren't just saving money. You're building ownership. You're building productive assets. You're building a machine that can potentially generate more value. And that's the part people often miss when they look at wealthy people. They see the house, the car, the vacation, the expensive lifestyle. But those things aren't necessarily what created the wealth. The deeper story is usually much less glamorous. Income, saving, ownership, reinvestment, time, and compounding, repeated over and over again. So the real question isn't, how do rich people make money? It's this. What do they own that keeps producing value after they've stopped working for the day? Because earning money can change your lifestyle, but owning productive assets can change what your money is capable of doing. And once you understand that, you stop looking at money as something you simply earn and spend. You start looking at it as something that can be put to work. And that's when your money starts becoming more than money.